Hey guys, John here. I'm doing a video. I'm done in a while. I didn't feel like showing records. I got a bit to show, but I'm not into it. I'm going to show this, and this video is mainly for myself to show my amp here. I have this 1955 and 1954 Gibson Les Paul Jr. amp I've had for many years, just sitting there, and I think I'm going to put this together, so rebuild this thing. So I'm making this video just to document what it looked like before, more for myself, and just maybe if I post this video it'll motivate me, because this has been sitting for over 20 years in my possession, somewhere around there. But anyway, there's not much left to this amp. And I know it's 55 or 54 because it's the only years they made this amp. They made this amp for a few years, but in this like TV set style, the way this looks. And I'm just going to document everything I know about this amp here. Someone obviously took off the paper cover, and it was like almost like a wallpaper cover in vintage. And I don't know if they sanded it down, but there was like these bolts that held the speaker in a sanded flush. So I don't know if they were planning on covering it with something else. They were like decorative bolt heads on the back. It's got the original handle, which is beat, but that's original handle. Usually these things are broken. But there it is. It's definitely in rough shape. But it's a little amp, and this would be a kick-ass amp. It's very similar to a Fender Champ. Let's see. There's the I think those are original feet, but it's a big mess inside. Someone put a ground plug on there, which I'm gonna probably replace. I don't like that gray one. But going through it, I'm gonna need to get a transformer, and it's got the original output transformer. I can't figure out what year it is because the serial numbers would have been on the speaker, which I'm missing, or the power transformer, which I'm also missing. It looks like they recapped, they got rid of the tin can electrolytic capacitor, which is 3 of them in the can. Just eyeballing it, there's a weird resistor here, which is not in the schematics. And I could see a cap here that was replaced is just hanging loose. And the resistors all look original. You know, nothing's measured. I'll have to measure and see what's working. It's a 6V6 power tube runs on, which I should have some, but I need a rectifier tube, and it's got a 6.5 J7 tube in here. Hopefully that works. But someone had drilled out and put in a different transformer, which is right here. And I don't know, I don't think it ever worked, whoever put this transformer in. It's missing a coil. I can't figure out how they wired it. It should have 4 coils, but 3 going out. They stepped down, and I don't know, they drilled new holes, put this in, so we're gonna need to get a real power transformer, which is, I think, like, I don't know what we'd need, maybe 3, oh, I got the schematics, if I can read it. I got a copy of the schematics, very simple amp, and I've not built an amp before, rebuilt an amp. I've soldered things, I've fixed things, but this will be the first time to build an amp, to rebuild an amp, and restore an amp, I should say. But yeah, anyway, I need to get, I think we need a completely different transformer. And then it did have a speaker in there. And I don't know, I looked at, this is a Utah speaker, which is a nice speaker. They put them in Fender amps and stuff. Almost looks like an old, like a car speaker. But it's the serial number look up And it's either from 1958, 1968, or 1978. And I can't make out, but I think it's not. I ruled out 1978 because I think Utah was out of business by them or sold off, or it just doesn't look any of the 70s speakers. It's a nice Alnico magnet. And they really switched over to ceramics in the early 60s. So I'm tending to think this is 50s because I've seen a lot of Jensens that look very similar to this in the 50s. But the way it looks, I just get this, I feel like it's not from the 50s. It's hard, I'm 50-50 if it's 1968 or 1958. I may replace the speaker anyway, but it's a pretty decent speaker. 5x7, the product number is 40157. It's a 5-inch by 7-inch speaker, and it's in really great shape. If I look inside, they have like the paper coils in there, and that looks old, like that could be 50s, but I look at this and it just feels 60s or 70s to me. So I have to do more research, but there's not a lot of info on Utah speakers, at least on these type. And so it's a mystery to me, but it was mounted in there with this, and this wasn't cut or made this by a person, like a do-it-yourselfer. This came from something. So they cannibalized this speaker and this, and like this must have came from a console unit or an organ or maybe like a reel-to-reel player, because this fits perfectly. The holes are drilled perfect, and it fits perfect. So they probably cannibalized this from something and put it in. And this, it's hard to tell by the grill cloth, but the old particle board looks more 58 than 68, but you still can't tell. So I don't know what this could have came from. Must have been like a hi-fi unit, or it could have been a box speaker with just one speaker. I'm not sure. Like a monitor, like a PA kind of speaker. So anyway, there's that. And so I think that's about it. It's a mystery on this. I'd love to know if this is 1958 or 1968. I wish I had the sticker still on Utah, but they didn't change a lot. A lot of these speakers look the same, just changed minorly. But to have a magnet and not be ceramic in 1968 for just not an expensive or fancy speaker. So I think that's it. And we're going to have to try to recover the amp. We'll recover it, and we'll see if we can bring this thing back to life. And if it works, in my mind, when we get to it, it's going to be like a kick-ass, like dirty, I mean, I guess we could keep it clean, but a real 50s, nice, I don't know, blues box or whatever you want to call it. But it's perfect for me because I don't play out anymore, and just to have play in the house. But anyway, that's that. Hope everyone's doing well. And I'm trying to think of any other clues here. Yeah, it looks like most like the schematics is the right parts. I didn't find any extras added in or missing too much. But anyway, that's that. And I had a serial number here. It says 5499 on it, punched in there. But I read that doesn't mean anything. 54 would be nice. That means 1954, but they made more than 99 of these, so I think that's probably most likely a coincidence, but 50% chance it's 54 or 55. And I noticed, one other thing, the pot was changed. Original knob, which is great. But the pot was changed because I believe it says made in Mexico. So we'll check that out. But everything else looks pretty much there, like pretty much original, but a little bit of a mess. But we shall see. But hope everyone's doing well. Cheers. Maybe.